All right, New York Giants fans, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Well, we had a press conference yesterday, and I normally don't like to cover press conferences because honestly, it's always the same thing. If you had a bad season, you're gonna improve next year, and you're gonna make the necessary changes, and you're gonna move forward. If you had a semi-good season, things went as planned, and there was some obstacles and some things that stood in your way from being better than you were, and you were going to improve on that next year. And that was basically the press conference. There was nothing out of the ordinary and nothing spectacular that came out of it that you're like, oh, earth-shattering, because there never is. Because they are a professional football team. They are PR savvy. And they're basically just going to give you the information that they want to give you. And that's going to be the end of that. One of the things I did find interesting on the meeting was, nothing again was Daniel Jones' fault. He just needs more weapons. He needs more lethal weapons. I just love that we don't blame him for anything. I mean, literally, we don't blame him for anything. We don't blame him for his regression at all. It's everything around him but Daniel Jones. And hopefully that's the case, because the Giants seem to be making a commitment towards trying to gain some type of additional weapons for Daniel Jones, which is fine, which is what you want to do. I mean, that's not out of the ordinary, but how are you going to do it? And that's going to kind of be the question. Are you going to reach into the draft at 11 and try to pick somebody up? And let's be honest, what's his name? Chase, the guy out of LSU, is probably not going to be there. Smith isn't going to be there. You may have some players like Moore out of Purdue or Bateman out of Minnesota. And what's his name? I can't remember. The kid out of Alabama may potentially be there. But you're also needing to fill some holes on the team itself. You still need a CB2. We need another linebacker. We need an edge. We are probably going to need another offensive lineman. You don't know who you're going to lose in free agency. And then you have to take the factor in, are you going to look for this other playmaker in free agency? You have, what's his name, Godwin with the Bucks, Allen Robinson. The kid out of the Lions, what's his name? He's probably looks like he's gonna re-sign with the Lions. You got Will Fuller out of Texas, Juju Smith-Schuster, and of course everyone's been talking about Corey Davis for like 3 years, that he's going to come to the Giants. He's an unrestricted free agent as well. But the player that I worry about the most right now is Curtis Samuel. They're saying that he had his big breakout season with 77 receptions and 851 yards. So Gettleman has that connection. He selected Samuel in the second round in 2017. I mean, so it's going to be, is he going to kind of reach back into the Carolina Panther bag and pull out another one of his old draft choices? The difference is between James Bradberry and Samuel is James Bradberry has been a consistent performer since he's been in the league. Samuel this is his good year. Is this a projection of his career, or is it just one good season where he is more of a focus and more of an option on a team? A lot of ways he reminds me of Darius Slayton. And so the question's going to be, is that something is that a player that we need to look into that we could potentially get in free agency? But he's not going to come cheap. And of course you have old Evan Ingram, the Pro Bowl tight end. He's on his 5th-year option next year, so it's definitely going to be a make or break year for Evan Ingram. We seem to say that every single season with this guy. And is he going to be someone that the Giants are going to refocus on? And is he going to be a Joe Judge reclamation project, or is he going to be someone that we're just going to dump and get rid of? I mean, it's great to talk about all the things that you want to put around Daniel Jones. But the elephant in the room is he still needs to work on a bunch of things on his own game. He had a regression. And Dave Gettleman and the staff and Joe Judge seem to feel that, he's entrenched as a franchise quarterback. And I love it because of the fact that I knew this was going to happen because Gettleman during the press conference, he was even citing Jones's performance in the season finale. A game with playoff implications. I like that word, implications, against the Cowboys as a reason for optimism. He's made of the right stuff mentally and physically, Gettleman said. Again, we're talking about a young quarterback who has 2 different offensive coordinators in the NFL, 2 different systems. Obviously, he had a different one at Duke, so he got 3 different systems in 3 years. And I've been saying that was going to be the excuse for the longest time. I have been saying that people are going to say, well, he's had 3 different offensive coordinators. Well, you know what's funny? I laugh because every quarterback, and I've said this before, every quarterback has a different offensive coordinator from they leave college to go to the pros. It's kind of a given. You just better be 100% right on Daniel Jones. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And I love it. Our coaches, all of them, have a very high on Daniel, and I feel the same way, said Mara. I think he has what it takes to lead us to where we want to go. I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're 100% right because I have said this before. If you have whiffed on Daniel Jones and you reached for him at 6, this is going to be bad. And it's going to get bad for 3 years after we finally move on from him, trying to find a quarterback. So I really do hope that Daniel Jones, but I just laugh because I even said in the videos, I said people are going to say Daniel Jones had such a great game. Even Troy Aikman says he doesn't trust his passes, which is why he was throwing short to his receivers. But you know what? Its beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if they think that more weapons around Daniel Jones is going to make him a better player and lead us to the playoffs, fine. Perfect. Sign me up. But you need to show me something more than he gained. To me, the highlight of Daniel Jones' season is he gained 9 pounds and became an all-pro. So seriously, folks, try the veal. Don't forget to tip your waitresses. This is, and like I said, this is one of the reasons why I don't cover press conferences. Because you're never going to get a straight answer. And you know what? You never should. Honestly, you never should get a straight answer. I mean, and be perfectly honest, because you don't want them divulging what they want to do with the franchise. I used to love it when I would see on Twitter and social media fans are like, Dave Gettleman lied to us. He didn't tell us the truth about what he was going to do. Yeah, no duh. The general manager and owner is not going to go out there and say, okay, and the rest of the NFL, here's our game plan. Here's who we want to draft. Here's who we want to sign in for agency. Here's the players we want to bring in. Here's the players we're going to cut. We're going to give you our entire plan right now. And at that point in time, you should just help us do this. No, it's called deception. It's called the art of deception. You have to, it's magic. Look at my hand here as my other hand does something else. It's distraction. It's smoke screens. So is the Daniel Jones thing a smokescreen? No, they're so stuck with him right now and so entrenched with him right now that it just is what it is. But we just got to deal with it, and that's the end of that. I mean, honestly, one thing that I did find interesting is they do not seem to be too enthused about moving on from Jason Garrett. You could tell by that in the press conference. I'm going to have to, if you want, go back and watch some of my old videos where I said multiple times Jason Garrett was going to be one and done with the Giants. And I love it because I want all that. If he takes the job, I'm going to rephrase this. If he's offered the job in L.A. and doesn't take it and stays with the Giants, or he leaves the Giants, I want everyone that bashed me on those pages to apologize. I want to see apologies. And I want them to start, Dearest Tim, you were right once again. Because I got so much crap for saying that. So much crap. So go back and watch those videos. But again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. We're bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could subscribe, if you could ring that bell, I think you know what that means, that'd be awesome.